Hello guys and gals, welcome back to another episode of Haunted Gaming. This week, after a long time, we're taking a look at another Sonic creepypasta. This creepypasta begins for the millionth time by telling us that, as the player was a child, he or she used to play Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Mega Drive, also known as the Sega Genesis. Unfortunately, while the player's family was moving, an accident had occurred, and the console broke, which also meant that the player's mother would happen to throw away all the games. The player then searched the internet, specifically eBay, for a pre-owned Mega Drive. The player found the console for only £6, which is about $8 US, currently. The console also came with a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog, the very original one. Although the sticker was torn off and was replaced by a crude label, the player didn't care and decided to go bid on the item. The player immediately won the item, even though there was a day left on the auction. The console and game arrived within 3 days, and was in really good condition despite the low price that was paid for it. The player blew into the cartridge and inserted it into the Genesis and was ready to play some Sonic. The TV flickers on, Sega logo appears, but instead of that Sonic theme, it was just static, which lasted for an unusually long time. The game then got a little weirder when the title screen came up. It was polluted, and black sludge was pouring into the sea with dark skies and lightning. The music was even slower, and Sonic popped into the title screen, and he looked terrified. The player believed now this was some sort of hack. But then again, the player then hit start and was greeted with Dr. Robotnik, holding a lifelike rabbit. The graphics looked really good, even better than what the Genesis hardware could even render. Robotnik then slit the rabbit's neck and began to laugh. It was all so realistic, like as if he was actually in the same room with the player. The game then loaded up Green Hill Zone. The music was replaced by some low buzzing noise, and the background looked exactly like the title screen background. Sonic also looked paler and terrified, and as he ran, he also cried. The player decided to play like normal and find out if this was just some sick joke. So the player gathered rings like usual, went through the level, and eventually lost their rings to a buzz bomber. Upon losing the rings, Robotnik could be heard chuckling and his face flashed in the stormy background. But the buzz bomber didn't just take away Sonic's rings or attack Sonic. No, it stabbed Sonic. And then screams were heard. And about 30 seconds after this, of constant stabbing and screaming, the buzz bomber flew away, leaving Sonic's corpse laying there, as the screen faded to black. The player then heard deep mumbling in what possibly sounded like Japanese or Korean. Dr. Robotnik, the realistic version, popped up once more, and was holding Sonic by the head. Sonic was crying and begging for mercy, but this time Robotnik just snapped his neck and kicked Sonic's corpse around. Blood flying everywhere and bits of Sonic's spine flying around as Robotnik laughed maniacally. A message then appeared in Japanese with the yes or no selection. The player chose yes. I don't know why, but they just did. And the player then appeared in the Green Hill Zone, and Sonic was even more afraid. This time looking directly at the screen. The player reached the end of the level and was getting ready to fight the Wrecking Ball boss. Only this time when Robotnik appeared, there was a loud noise, and Robotnik's face was full of disgust for Sonic. Before even having a chance to attack the boss, the Wrecking Ball crushed Sonic to the side of the screen, and screams began to play over and over as the screen started to glitch. Before the player turned off the console, about to turn it off, Robotnik spoke in a dark voice stating, "This was your fault, and your fault alone." Game Over kept flashing and Sonic's carcass hit the letters and slid off, and all you could hear from Sonic is, "Why did you do this? Why?" The player ripped the game out of the console, threw it straight into the garbage, the only sensible thing in this creepypasta. The player tried looking for the eBay seller, but couldn't find him. Even when he or she asked on the eBay forums, everyone claimed they never even saw the user in the first place. Okay, there's two things I have to address. Number one, when I was a kid, I used to love this game. That has to stop. Honestly. Like, there's like tons of other ways you can start off a creepypasta. Look at how other people did it that was original. I mean, you know what? Why not in the comment section below write down how would you start your creepypasta? Instead of, okay, when I was a kid, I used to love this game, and now it hates me, It's cliched as hell. Number 2, if any of you see a game that has its original label ripped off and has a false label on it, you know, just a crappy label with something written in marker, don't buy it. Don't take it, and if somebody gives it to you for free or you get it in the mail, throw it away. Burn it. Don't play it, okay? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to be some weird hack or some demon is going to be in it. You just don't take it. Don't. That's the 2 big things about any creepypasta, not just this. I mean, and I don't want to rag on this creepypasta because I thought it was decent. I mean, it had flaws, like I said, tons of cliches. And I'll even look over the obvious, oh, bought the game off eBay. I mean, this went more into depth with the eBay thing, and come on, you gotta get games from someplace, right? Even I end up buying tons of classic games off eBay, or other online stores. For example, I had to buy Tomba 2 for the PlayStation 1 off of eBay, because I couldn't get it off PSN or any other, you know, store here close by. That's why you would need an online auction site to do something like that, right? Many of the things in this creepypasta do come from another creepypasta, a very popular one called Sonic.exe, notably the blood-curdling screams and the title screen. But I think what this creepypasta did excel on was imagery. The way the game, especially Dr. Robotnik, were described. It was really creepy, especially with the kicking of Sonic's corpse and spine, snapping of the neck. It's sick to think about, and really made this creepypasta creepy. I usually say violence is unnecessary, and it's wrong if it's done improperly, but this time it was genuinely adding to the creepiness. I mean, as I was reading this, it was unsettling to know that, you know, that you could kind of picture these things happening. I mean, that's what I thought. You know, and as far as the other thing that I liked as well was the demonic chanting. It was creepy, and I was intrigued to figure out what it was. Like, could it have been a reference to the Sonic CD hidden message, or something along those lines? I mean, what do you think? The eBay seller idea was pretty unique, you know. I think it's the first time I read about some phantom eBay seller who disappears after the purchase of their demonic sort of package that they're sending. And most likely, it's probably some demented hacker. I mean, what can you say? In the end, I think this creepypasta is decent in what it does, imagery especially, and it does have some unique ideas. And you know, I think the creepiness, the demonic chanting, and all that kind of stuff, I'm intrigued to know what that's about, and you know, why this was happening in the game. I want to know, but again, it's not explained, so you kind of have to think about it on your own. So yeah, I did think this was decent, but it had some problems. I mean, it was cliched, and extremely cliched. And you know, by the way, when I say it's cliched, what would you have changed in this creepypasta to make it better? And what would you rate this creepypasta? In the end, I recommend you all to read it. Give it a read. It's pretty short. Links in the description below. And once again, you know, I try to get to all of your creepypasta suggestions, but I actually do have a lot of suggestions. So if you don't see yours on, it's not because it's bad or horrible or I hate you. It's because the schedule is packed right now, and I try to get to each suggestion. So don't worry, and you know, keep sending those suggestions to me. You know, I had one for a long time about this Nintendo creepypasta. I might do that. I don't know. So yeah, this has really been it, and this has been another episode of Haunted Gaming. And if you like what you saw, then like, comment, and subscribe. This is me, Mudahar, from Some Ordinary Gamers, and I'm out.